Okay, so it seems that recently the situation with Sameko Saba has been getting a little bit worse. Now, if you guys don't know, recently we covered some pretty sad news with the fact that she would not be coming back soon, anytime soon or whatever, and that she would be pausing her memberships after a lot of the criticisms that she got from many fans while she has been away over the past couple of months, right? And she essentially revealed the fact that she has a chronic illness, which obviously isn't getting any better. And of course, it's one of the kind of worst points, she says, and that's why she's been completely kind of inactive, right? And I think it is very understandable, and I think a lot of people are now taking back a lot of the comments that they made about her during the time when obviously she didn't give any kind of update or whatever. And I think it is pretty crazy. You know, some people just assumed things and said that she wanted to grab money or whatever when she was actually genuinely struggling with something. Now, again, it seems like obviously that kind of hatred or whatever you want to call it has still kind of, gone over to this situation in particular as well, as a lot of people have been commenting about Saba and about all of the news that has recently come out about her, saying the way people talk about Saba now dragging in Iron Mouse into it just makes me so sad. And I think this is one of the things I thought that, this is 100% going to happen, right? Obviously, you mentioned chronic illness. We don't know exactly what chronic illness or whatever Saba has, but obviously a lot of people associate, whenever people talk about it, people talk about Iron Mouse because, of course, she also has obviously an immune deficiency disease. So, of course, she is not able to go outside or whatever. And some people like to compare, right? Some people like to compare and be like, well, oh, if Iron Mouse can do it, then she can do it, right? That kind of thing. And some people compare in different ways as well, saying like, oh, they're only using it for sympathy and things like that, which obviously is not the case at all, right? I think it is pretty horrible the way that people talk about things like this, right? And they said it is amazing to see how we're almost 10 years into the Senzawa. Guys, I'm dying right now, so I can't stream. Stay tuned for next merch drop spiel, and it works even better than before. Which again, I think is crazy to say, because of course, that's the problem with a chronic illness, right? It's one of those things that lasts, it's not like you have it for a week and it goes away, right? It lasts pretty much forever, right? That's the whole point of a chronic illness. And I think, a lot of people don't get the fact that it's been like this for, 10 years or whatever. And, it keeps on, dipping in and out, and she keeps on coming back and leaving and whatever. Usually it's due to the fact of it worsening and getting better, right? I think that is pretty understandable, but some people are trying to make it out to seem like, she's just doing it to, kind of promote merch, make people feel bad for her or whatever, which I think is crazy. And I think, I don't know why people are saying this. Who says, so chronic illnesses don't tend to just vanish, actually. Plus, hospitals visits are expensive. She needs income to pay for them since she can't work because of said chronic illness, which is true. And then they respond saying, no worries, ATM bud. By coincidence, her birthday is coming up and you will have an ample opportunity to give her your money buying the birthday merch. Which again, I think that's crazy, right? This person never necessarily said they were a like donator or like a sub or whatever of Saba. And it seems like, Saba doesn't even necessarily want people's money whenever it comes to this kind of stuff with her pausing the membership. So again, I do think it is pretty crazy. I think all she wants to do is kind of continue her, I guess, activities and whatever to, the best of her ability. And obviously collabs is all part of those activities. Now, of course, yes, she hasn't been streaming alongside them or whatever, but I do think, of course, she wanted to at least keep something up for fans to kind of, interact with, right? And people keep on saying, learned it from Iron Mouse, saying she has a terminal illness, yet she's still alive. Saying chronic illness, not terminal illness. Yeah, and there's two completely different things, right? People are very, very stupid and don't understand what a chronic illness is compared to a terminal illness. Terminal illness means you're gonna die, right? Yeah, you're gonna die. Usually, it's like something like cancer or whatever. That would be a terminal illness, like a late stage cancer. Obviously, you can recover from early stage and stuff like that, potentially. But of course, yeah, terminal means you're pretty much going to die unless by some miracle you don't, right? And chronic is just something that, just affects you in your life, right? It's nothing that's necessarily, it doesn't mean that you're going to die from it or anything like that, but it is something that does affect how you do things and how you work and all of this kind of stuff, right? saying it's your fault for expecting basic pattern recognition from Chumba, saying works every time, which, yeah, that's crazy. Saying if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It would also not surprise me if Senzawa Guru Saba turned out to be some kind of Pakistani scammer like Elfin Psyop, which is crazy too, right? Again, it's just insane that people can kind of think this way, right? Saying the I'm dying gimmick will continue to work for as long as it continues working for Iron Mouse, I'm afraid. And again, I don't think any of them have said they are dying, right? You know, they just say that they have an illness, which of course, you know, makes it hard for them to do the things that they want to do, right? A lot of people saying I would have expected this from a guy that uses a picture of Michelle Obama as the head, photoshopped onto a man's body as a PFP. Saying it would not surprise me if Senzawa Guru Saba turned out to be some Pakistani scammer. Brother, what? Not gonna lie, I actually chuckled reading that. How can someone genuinely believe that? And yeah, I think that is, you know, what a lot of people are asking, right? Saying I wonder if they're the type of people who get annoyed when Make-A-Wish kids get their wishes, but they don't end up dying. And saying I never thought about that. They have to be the same type of people, dude. They probably poke fun at the fact a little, but still screwed up either way. Saying they visit a fast food place who's on vacation, drop money in their mailbox, and make a 1-star review. Yeah, didn't get my food. They stole my money. Yeah. The idiots think that chronic and terminal are the same thing, I guess. They said, as someone with chronic, it is type of one that can kill me, and I will have an operation soon to remove it permanently. Until then, one of the differences is chronic can disappear and reappear. Terminal is with you to the end, which obviously, yeah. That is, you know, obviously a good explanation, obviously by someone that apparently also has a chronic illness, right? Said I thought terminal illnesses or illnesses in the last stage of development usually being a high lethal. If this is what that meant, then I apologize. Either way, people need to learn their own language and terminology. So no biggie, but yeah, this is what I meant. Terminal always means lethal, and you have X days, weeks, months, X left, right? With terminal, if it exists, having huge consequences, which will result in you crippling you most of the time, right? And obviously, yeah, they go on to like kind of further clarify the different definitions, right? And again, nobody's saying that anybody is terminal. Everybody, you know, they're just saying it was chronic, right? Which is something completely different. And as we've gone through the differences between the two, it is crazy to know that, hey, you know, some people don't know it, and maybe that's the NA education, right? You know, I know it's a meme a lot of the time, but sometimes it is, like, honestly, it is just stupid people that maybe just didn't listen enough in school, right? But again, hey, we'll have to see if there's anything else that comes from this. But again, I think it is pretty weird that, you know, people were already trying to drag Iron Mouse into this and trying to claim that, you know, they're both like terminal or something like that, which is stupid. They're not, you know, they've got chronic issues, which of course they are both handling in their own ways. Of course, Iron Mouse is doing a lot of cool stuff, and obviously Saba is trying to deal with what seems to be the worst of it right now, right? And I think all people can do is kind of go and support both of them. And I think that's it, right? You know, I don't think, you know, there needs to be any kind of drama or discussion surrounding it. It just is one of those things where it's like, oh, you know, that sucks. Like, you know, let's go support them, right? And that's it. That's all you need to do. But obviously some people just want to be horrible online. Maybe some people actually feel genuinely bad for the stuff that they said about Saba, and now just deciding to double down on it anyways because they're in too deep now, right? But again, I think it is pretty crazy, right? But yeah, that's what I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code CASO, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. That's all. So yeah.